Good afternoon. I would like to start by welcoming all of you, our principals and building leaders, to this professional development session on coaching incompetent or marginal teachers. Today we are going to accomplish 4 main objectives. We will define quality teaching, understand what we are or are not observing in our teachers that causes us to label them as marginal or ineffective, discuss strategies for improving teacher effectiveness, and finally, reflect on our overall role as administrators in helping our incompetent teachers, who will henceforth be referred to as ineffective teachers, become effective. If our objective is to promote effective teaching in our schools, we must first define what quality teaching is. Current legislation defines effective teachers as those who hold a bachelor's degree, a valid certification, and knowledge in their subject. We as teacher leaders, though, know that more is needed to define teacher efficacy. So we turn to research which states that effective teachers teach class rules and monitor expectations, provide clear explanations and ample instructional time, maximize opportunity for students to respond during instruction and seat work, maintain a brisk lesson pace, present their lesson in scaffolded steps, and finally, provide regular feedback. In order to measure teachers' efficacy, we can use a variety of tools at our disposal. Many of them are listed here. While these tools may help us recognize an ineffective teacher, they may not tell us what specifically is lacking in a teacher's ability. Reflect on your observations for a moment. What causes you to think that a teacher is ineffective? Charged with the responsibility of uncovering what makes teachers ineffective, one particular study surveyed 251 secondary principals in New York and Michigan. What was found time and time again was when principals reflected on the study's questions is that it is a lack of pedagogical skills, specifically those that relate to students, such as the ability to establish a rapport with students and classroom management, that were the most frequent causes of a teacher's ineffectiveness. While you may not be surprised by this when thinking of your own observation experiences, the finding is significant because earlier research, as well as federal legislation and pervasive public opinion, have all indicated that it is a teacher's lack of content knowledge that is the cause of his or her ineffectiveness. What makes this finding even more significant is that it is held true across all subject areas and in all levels of schools, meaning those that perform both very well and quite poorly on assessments. In regards to leading causes of ineffectiveness in elementary teachers, one study in particular provides some fascinating insight. Researching elementary teacher candidates and novice teachers, this study found that even after completing specific coursework and working in the field with mentor teachers, there are many primary teachers who believe that a love of children is the only attribute one needs to be successful in the classroom. That is to say that it is more important for teachers to be caring than possess actual content or pedagogical knowledge. This is a malformed and even underdeveloped professional identity that leads to ineffectiveness in the classroom. These issues, while serious in nature, are not insurmountable, and research suggests that pedagogical skills can be improved with specific professional development, and professional identities can be created through the promotion of emotional intelligence. What we want to do now is identify the essential components of professional development and coaching that will increase your teacher's effectiveness and allow them to be successful. Research shows that effective coaching occurs on-site or as close to the classroom as possible. Adult learning styles must be considered, and adequate time for repeated and guided practice or reinforcement must be allowed. The professional development has to focus on a specific pedagogical goal. The study that this research was retrieved from actually conducted a 3-year study of coaching and professional development, and what the researchers found was that in years 2 and 3 of the study, as the focus became more general, the value of the professional development dissipated. Also, access to a coach or mentor is key. It's recommended that the coach spend 1 to 2 hours per week or bi-weekly with the teacher, and that they lead teachers through a process whereby they model the behavior, watch the teacher practice and implement the skill in the classroom, and then provide feedback. This is referred to as cognitive coaching. Within your own buildings, you might consider using master teachers as coaches, offering your own service as a coach, or even using some of your professional development budget to hire coaches for specific teachers. For instance, perhaps you will hold a professional development session on classroom management that educates teachers on methods to refocus a class. Coaches could model and answer strategies such as 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, and watch teachers implement the strategy and improve their classroom management. To help teachers create an appropriate professional identity, that is one that acknowledges the actual skills and qualities needed for a teacher to possess in order to be successful, research suggests that teachers need to be constantly informed on these external requirements and asked to create a self-conceptualization associated with that role through scaffolding and reflection. This does not just insinuate coaching, however, but can refer to an implementation of specific curriculum. Studies have shown that when teachers were asked to teach a language arts curriculum that focused on social emotional skills, the teachers became more aware of both their students and their own emotions. Teachers also became aware of their significant role in attending to students' social emotional needs. In turn, these teachers created a stronger professional identity that had positive effects on their classroom. If you as building leaders could find applicable curriculum, such as the 4R program, and introduce it to the teachers in your own elementary schools, the results would be impressive. The aforementioned strategies are useless, however, if we as building leaders do not acknowledge our role in facilitating the process. In terms of coaching, we must make sure we are highlighting specific pedagogical needs of the staff and allowing for implementation and reinforcement. We need to promote emotional intelligence by encouraging teachers to create their professional identity and introducing them to curriculum that will facilitate that process. A second role that we as administrators have in ensuring we have effective teachers in our school is making sure that we prevent the situation of having to coach ineffective teachers in the first place by hiring strong candidates. As research now shows that it is a teacher's lack of pedagogical and not content knowledge that leads to their ineffectiveness, seriously reconsider candidates with alternative certifications. Are they really the best fit for the job? Finally, hold high academic standards for yourself, your teachers, your students, and your school. Research shows that students of teachers and principals with high academic achievements and goals fare better in school and achieve more as well. Your role is vital. Remember, school leadership is second only to classroom instruction in influencing student learning. Unfortunately, some negatives must be acknowledged. The strategies discussed do not always yield positive results. If coaching is not done properly or is overdone, teachers may completely relinquish control of their classrooms. In regards to fostering a new professional identity, some teachers' misconceptions are so deeply embedded that no amount of new information or curriculum can change their beliefs or increase their effectiveness. Despite these possible pitfalls, however, you as principals are encouraged to try the following when faced with a teacher you consider to be marginal or ineffective. First, make sure you have a clear, communicable definition as to what quality and effective teaching is and looks like. Re-examine your measures of effectiveness to ensure they provide an accurate representation of your teacher. For instance, does a process product checklist truly depict the effectiveness of a special education teacher who has weaker students to begin with and shares them with other general education teachers? After firmly deciding that a teacher is in fact marginal, identify the problem and implement an appropriate coaching technique as described here to begin addressing the issue. Throughout the process, maintain high standards for yourself, your staff, and the students. Finally, reevaluate the teacher and assess for improvements. By understanding the causes of teacher inefficiency, as well as measures one can take to improve it, you as instructional leaders will achieve instructional efficacy in your buildings. The Claremont Graduate University Teacher Education Internship Program has taken 3 terms, which when combined serve to define what makes for a quality teacher. The teacher must know that he or she is accountable for student learning so that they constantly improve upon their craft. They must believe in collaboration so they work well with others to increase student success. Finally, they must recognize that there are social inequities so that they can be a force in breaking these obstacles and equalizing opportunities for all. While these are great terms for our teachers to live by, they are just as beneficial for us as administrators. We must recognize that there are inequities among teachers in our building and be willing to help those who need us. By way of strong leadership, we must encourage collaboration in our buildings, and finally, we must be directly accountable for our teachers as they are for our students. After all, we cannot expect from our teachers what we do not give to them. Remember, it all starts with you.